Hi guys, welcome to yet another session of Tableau Buddy user group. You can actually just scan this QR code. We keep updating you all about user groups which keeps happening. Not just our user group, but the other user groups as well, which could benefit you. So you can quickly scan this. We'll send it over via mail also later on. So if you haven't been able to scan, that's still okay. Initially, we started this user group to support, there are a lot of user groups already which exist in the community, which actually gives an opportunity to ambassadors and a lot of the people who are already a huge part of community regularly to share their knowledge with all the other people. But APAC region especially had a very few user groups which were actually running and very few ambassadors as well. So we started this user group last year to support new data heroes to actually, to give them a stage so that they can come up and share their information and the knowledge with all of us. And then maybe move on to bigger platforms like Tableau Friends Festival and maybe Tableau Conference, and also become Tableau ambassadors in the future. And also, it's really great to share that a lot of our last year and some of from this year as well have ended up becoming ambassadors. Ursula herself is one of those, so that's great. We are four leaders who support the Tableau Buddy user group, who run Tableau Buddy user group. Prasan is the one who actually came up with this, and he is also a Tableau visionary this year, and also a Tableau social ambassador. And he also regularly teaches people, coach people in data visualization. Then second comes it's me, and I'm currently working at Expedia Group as a data visualization engineer. And I'm also been a Tableau social ambassador for the last 3 years. Then we have Ansula, who works at Zoom currently, and also is a content creator. You can check out her YouTube page. She shares a lot of information, tutorials regularly, and she is also a Tableau social. We have Avinash, who is not here with us right now in this call, and he has been voted twice. His Viz has been voted twice by Tableau as Viz of the Day, and he is also a senior BI developer at Optum in Ireland. Over to you, Angela.
Funny. Hey everyone, I'm really excited that you guys have joined us here today at the Tableau Buddy TUG. I cannot be more excited to introduce our speakers for today. We have Venkatesh as well as Akshay. Akshay is having some technical issues and should be joining us in any moments from now. But just a quick introduction of both of them. Venkatesh has been in the data analytics field for almost 6 years now, and he has great experience working with dashboards and analysis that he's going to share with us today as well. Also, Akshay is currently working at Uber. He is an associate manager in the analytics and systems team at the Uber, and he has made a lot of business revolutions. He's worked with Tableau for a really long time, and he's going to also walk us through some of his learnings and what he really loved over here in the Tableau Buddy Talk today. So yeah, these are our great speakers for today. I'll hand it over to Venkatesh so that he can get started with the session. Just a few points that you can remember, that just go ahead, use the question and answer section or even DMs to ask any questions that you have throughout the sessions. We'll take the questions and answers at the end of each presentation. So just to make sure any questions that you have are getting addressed. And don't forget to network with us, connect with us, and we'll be happy to help you out and socialize as well. So yeah, over to you, Venkatesh, with that.
Thank you so much, Anshula. And first of all, I'm super excited and thrilled to be here. When Prasan messaged me that we'll be happy to have you as a speaker, I was really excited and also scared because this is my first time presenting to such a large group. Uh, but yeah, then he told me that you've got the techniques and you can just explain it to people. People will love. Everyone is very supportive, and yeah, it So I'm really excited about this. And so yeah, just one small correction. Anshula mentioned that I have 6+ years of experience in data analysis, but I'm really not that experienced in this field. I was earlier working as a mechanical engineer with some, I used to do some data analysis on the side, but um, yeah, later on I moved to this field like as a full-time data analyst, and now I'm working as a senior analytics consultant at PH Data. So with that, I'll start presenting my screen. And yeah, we can keep this session very interactive. If you have any questions, since we'll be building on top of stuff, if you have any questions, I'll pause in between and then you can just ask me those questions, because it will be important for you to understand the concepts first so that you can understand what is happening next. So yeah, with that, I'll just share my screen. Yeah, I hope it is visible. Yeah.
Yes. Go ahead.
So, yeah, so the topic for today is pagination. Essentially, pagination is nothing but creating a menu like this so that you can. So basically, here I have a simple bar chart with all the customer IDs, and as you know, there are almost 800 plus customer IDs in the uh, superstore dataset. And if we want to view this, we have this scroll bar here, which is like which does the job, but sometimes people might prefer to have these controls. Like there are a few distinct advantages of having pagination. One is that let's say your dashboard is viewed by a number of different business users. They can collaborate easily. They can say, okay, go to page 3 and see the third entry, why is this like this or something. It becomes easy than using this like uh, scrollable list. Also, here you can also add some charts in parallel to this. Like you can have multiple sheets showing different stuff against for this particular customer ID, and the pagination will take care of the uh, synchronized scrolling issue, because only the stuff that can be viewed on one screen at a time will be visible. So you can have multiple sheets here, and then this menu will act as the scrolling for you. It's really easy. I've implemented it in many different projects and it has worked really cool. So the reason I came up with this is because the all the previous methods that were created for pagination were very cumbersome. Like these all buttons were in different sheets, and then you have to set up many different parameter actions, create multiple parameters, etc. And so I tried to optimize this as much as possible, and now this is just working in one sheet. If I click on this, it will show the second page, third page, fourth page. And if I click on this, it will show the last page. And then if I click on this, it will come back to the first one. Yeah, and even these buttons people can click. So this is essentially the same kind of UI we see in web pages. So this, and it just uses one parameter action right now. It's performant. You can implement it in your dashboards too. This like Anshula mentioned in my intro, I've also published this as a blog on our company's website by the same name. If you want, you can go through that too. There you can have all these, the calculations that I'll be using here are available as like you can directly copy them and paste them in your workbooks to use it. So um, yeah, with that we have the, like, this is what pagination is. Does anybody have any questions, or else I'll move forward and we'll build this live.
Don't see any questions right now in the Q&A.
Oh,
Let's move on.
yeah, okay. Then I'll move on. So I'll go to a new. You can follow along with me if you're interested. Uh, like that will be fun, and you can also explore and see any issues or any roadblocks you end up facing. So now I'll connect to the Superstore dataset. I'll remove these people and returns from here because I don't need them. I'm using Tableau desktop, so that's why it will be a bit different if you're on public. But essentially, whatever I'm doing here can be replicated. There is nothing different. Yeah, so let's build using customer name and a bar chart, just like the example I showed you. So customer name and sales. So if we have this bar chart, we can see that it has a scroll bar and there are 800 customers. So it becomes cumbersome to scroll through this and implement it in a dashboard. So let's try and paginate this. So first I'll remove sales for now. We'll build stuff and then we'll add everything together. So
Venkatesh, we see your
oh, that screen, new
yeah,
screen is not visible. Oh, sorry for
no,
that.
yeah.
Oh, thanks Anshula for pointing that out. I'll share it again. Okay. I hope my screen is visible. I've just opened a new workbook and I've removed the people and returns from this. Wait, I'll do it again so that we are on the same page. So I've just created a new workbook and since I'm using Tableau desktop, I can directly connect to Superstore dataset. Maybe you will have to use some external Excel file you might have to connect to this. So sample superstore and I'll remove this people and region uh, returns because I don't need them. Those fields will be unnecessarily taking up space. Yeah. So now let's see customer name. There are 800 customer names here, and if I get the sum of sales, we can see uh, we'll essentially paginate this particular chart. So yeah, uh, now it will to start with, I'll remove this. We'll build the calculations, and then add this later on. So the first calculated field we need is index. You might have used this in some of your calculations. So uh, I'll drag this index. Index will return the essentially the row number of what is visible on the screen. So I'll put this here. Now you can see this like this. So this is 1 to 10, 11 to 20, 21 to uh, like 30, etc. You can see all these numbers. They go from 1 to 800 corresponding to the number of rows. So now let's create some parameters. They'll be fairly simple parameters. This one will be called page size. It will just be an integer and I'll select range, minimum, maximum, maybe uh, minimum will be 10, maximum will be uh, 50, step size of 10. So essentially here we have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So this will be our page size, number of entries we want to see at any given time. So now like the page number of this first 10, and if my page size is 10, I want one against these first 10 entries. That is my end goal because that will be this the page number of these 10 entries. So to do that, I'll create one more calculation and I'll call this as maybe page number. And now let's try and build this calculation. So first, if I want, I'll divide this index calculation. I'll write it again because I'm going to dispose of that this plain index calculation. And if I get this page size here, so if I divide these two, and if I drag this here, this is what I'll get, 0.1 to 0.9, and then this is 1. Okay, so now if I round or if I get the integer value of this, then I'll get 0 against all these entries. So I'm go like I'll be a step closer to what I want to achieve. So I'll write int here, and then you can see the difference. So now we have 0 here, but what we want is 1. So uh, I'll add 1 here. So now we can see that these entries have 1, then we have 2, then 3. But if you notice, the 10th entry is showing 2 right now. That is because 10 divided by 10, since our page size is 10, 10 divided by 10 is also 1. And like that won't be considered here. It will move to the next value. It should be 0. So to do that, I'll deduct 1 from my index. I'll put this in a bracket. So by deducting 1, essentially I'm making this 10 as 9. So 9 divided by 10 would be 0.9, and then I'll have 1 here. So now if I hit OK, then these 10 first uh, 10 values will have 1, these will have 2, and so on. So if I change my page size, then these first 20 entries will have 1, the next ones will have 2. So any questions for this in this?
Questions in the chat as well.
Okay, great. So um, I hope this is clear, and then now we'll move on to the next part. So now that we have these page numbers, what we want to do is we want to only uh, like out of these page numbers at a time, I only want to see one page number. Okay, so to do that, I'll create another parameter. I'll call this the current page, and this will again be an integer. It will be range minimum 1, maximum 100 maybe. Since we have 800, the maximum will always be 80 for a page size of 10, but I'll keep 100. It doesn't matter. Um Yeah, and this step size will be 1 by default, so that's okay. Yeah, and now I'll also show this parameter current page. So to only show the uh, values corresponding to with a particular page number, we'll create one calculation. This will be very simple. Current page is equal to page number, and I'll call this as the filter maybe. And I'll put this here, select true. So now I can see the first 10 entries, next 10 entries. So that's it. Like this is the basic pagination. You can change the page size and you will have different like 20 entries at a time and showing the current page, fifth page with that page size. Okay, so I hope you are following and enjoying this. So this is the basic pagination, uh, like basics of pagination. And now I'll delete this because I don't want this calculation anymore. Uh, yeah. So now to build that navigation, next step is to build that navigation bar which we saw here. So to do this, we'll be using a couple of different tricks. Uh, like some of these tricks you might not have used before. So uh, like try incorporate this in your list of techniques, and then you can also come up with new variants of this. So yeah, so first we need a total of 9 placeholders here. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. To put all these symbols and numbers, we need 9 placeholders. There are a few different ways you can do it, but the way I did this here is a very hacky way. So I'll show you what I did. So when we select order, so this, since this superstore data has months going from January to December, you can use these months to create this interface. So uh, and since you won't be applying any filters on this sheet, it works. Like I'll once we do it, you'll get a bit more idea. So first I'll call this calculation as label, since it will show all these labels. And yeah, so I'll be writing this calculation now. So case date part, okay, and month. So and order date. So what this will return, let's see what this returns for now. So now if I change this to dimension, maybe discrete. So here we can see it is just returning 1 to 12. So these are essentially the months: January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, etc. So uh, basically I now have 12 numbers. I can use these numbers as placeholders to do whatever I want. So I'll write case date part, and when this value is 1, then I'll uh, add this symbol. So you can find that symbol on any of the website if you search for navigate to end, or you can also find it on the blog itself. There you can directly copy the entire code block and put it in your calculation. So when this, then when to, then now we want the uh, left navigation. And next is when the third page is selected. So in this case, if we go to this sheet and maybe select 5, so the currently selected page is at the center, and this page is 2 uh, less than 5, right? So this is essentially current page minus 2. So we'll do that here. So then current page minus 2, and I'll copy this. So my fourth placeholder will be current page minus 1, and then fifth would be the current page, sixth would be plus 1, and since this is the last, I'll directly write else, because I don't want these numbers showing up in my navigation. I just want 9 entries here. I don't, so I'll include all the remaining ones in this symbol. So else, uh, so current page plus, oh sorry, we still have somewhere else to go because we need to send this. And now we have to still create the other symbols. right navigation symbols. So then this and else. Yes. So this is the last symbol, and that's why uh, I'm writing it in else so that it doesn't show me 9, 10, 10, 11, 12 separately. And I'll write end here. Okay, so now there is an error. So this error is because these entries are string right now, and current page, this parameter is integer, and we are subtracting 2 from that integer. So this is again an integer. So all the stuff that's after then in a case statement should be of the same data type, because that is what this case statement will return finally. So this label should only have one data type. That's why having some of the stuff as int and some of the stuff as string won't work. So to fix that, we can just wrap this in str, and that same thing will be written in the error box also here. Expected type string found integer. So results from case expressions must match. So I'll write str, and that should do it. Well, oh, this if when you are building such formulae, and these red lines are very distracting. So what I like to do is I like to open a bracket on top, and that essentially gets rid of all those red lines, because Tableau is now focusing on this error that this bracket is not closed. And then you can just do your work, and after you have done what you want to do, you can remove that. So this, then remove this. So now our calculation is valid, and I'll hit OK. So as you can see, these are now our labels. uh, the Let's show our current page at maybe set at 4, so we can see. Let's sort this. Another advantage of using months here is I can just select month and sort uh, everything. Yeah. So now my navigation menu is sorted. So we can see this is current page is 4. This is 3, 2, 5, 6. Uh, Increase by 1, navigate to end, decrease by 1, and navigate to first. This is navigate to last, this is navigate to first, this is previous, and this is next. Yeah. So I hope this is clear. This menu is clear. It is dynamic. It changes with the parameter, because we have incorporated our parameter here, current page. So it will change with this. Okay. So now with this, there is one problem that you might have noticed. If I go lower than 3, until 3 everything is fine. But if I go lower than 3, then this makes no sense. Page number 0, 1, 2. And if I go even lower than this -1, this makes even less sense. So to fix this, what we want to do is, when the page number or the current page is less than 3, then we want our first 5 pages to be always visible. So this carousel effect should only start after uh, when my current page is more than 3. Okay. So to do that, uh, we want to fix this. So we'll wrap this in an if statement. Okay. And one more thing, if we navigate to the last page, then again you will find that same problem. So we only have 80 pages in total. um, uh, like our last page, if our page size is 10, then our last page is 80. There is no nothing on the 81st page. So our navigator menu should also not show numbers beyond 81, beyond 80, because like if someone clicks on this, then the page itself will be blank. And yeah, to fix that, um, we'll modify this, like I'll show now. So here I'll write if, and the current page is less than or equal to 3. So because we first will fix this less than or equal to 3 problem. So if it's here, if it's less than or equal to 3, then this should always be 1. The first page should always be 1. So maybe I'll put this str here for the time being, and then we'll focus on that. So when I'm on the anything less than 3, less than or equal to 3, then the first placeholder of page numbers should always show 1. Okay. Else current page -2. Okay. I hope this is clear. It is a bit complicated, but if you think about it, it's quite it should make sense. Now I'll copy this and make the uh, rest. We'll fix the this side one next. First, we'll focus on the left side entries. So this current page is less than or equal to 3. Then now the second entry should show 2, else -1. And this should the center entry in this case, it should be 3. So again copy this, paste this here. This should be 3, or else the just the current page. And now I'll copy this again, paste, paste. So 3 and 4, 5, this will be +1 and +2. Okay. So now we can see when these numbers will be static, 1, 2, 3. They are static, and once we cross 3, uh, this carousel will start, and now the center entry is 4 and this is 2. So okay, and similarly if we are coming from that side, this will once it's at 3, it will stay at this position, and then it will till it reaches 1. Okay. So now to fix the other end of the issue, like when we go to 80, we don't want to see these 81 and 82. We have to do the exact same thing, but we first want to know what is the last page. So here we can see like this is 80 is the last page, but we want to how to find this, like Tableau should know what is the last page. So to find the last page, we'll create this calculation. It will come in handy later on too. So last page, this will nothing be nothing but the so how to get the total number of total number of pages required. It is, if you think about it, the number of rows, or in this case the number of customers, divided by the page size, that will give you the last page, right? So in this case it's 800 and divided by 10, so that will give you the 80th page. So we'll wrap this in an LOD, because we don't want we want this value fixed at the uh, entire data source level. So count distinct customer name divided by page size. Okay. So this will return 80. But now you might be wondering, like, let's say, if my customers are not 800 exactly, if they are 804, then my last page in this case would return some weird decimal value. It should ideally return 81, because 81 would be the last page in that case. Only four entries would be on the 81st page, since it's 804. So to fix that, you can just write here ceiling. What ceiling does is, it uh, it rounds a number to the nearest integer of, or of equal or greater value. So ceiling, this 3.1415 is equal to 4. So here, since if this is 805, for example, then this division will return something 80 point something, and that ceiling will round it up to 5. And that's how we get the last page. Okay, so now with this we can fix our label for on the other end too. So to do that, here we'll add another else if statement inside this. It will be all like exactly like this. So here it's 1 2 3 4 5, but when it's the last page, what it will be last page. So now we are thinking about this value. So this, at any given time, the last page should always be at the center. Like, so if I'm thinking about this in this way, so my this is how my view should look. So last page should always be here, and this entry will be last page minus 4. Right, so let's write it like that. So just 1 second, my mouse is acting up a little. So else if last page minus 4. So that way, uh, oh, we forgot to write the condition here. So if the current page, so in this case, my current page will be uh, greater than or equal to the last page minus 2, then last page minus 4. Now you might be wondering where this last page minus 2 suddenly came from. So it's the same logic as this. So here we wrote 3, and here we are writing last page minus 2, because once my current page is beyond, like after 78 79 80, I don't want this to scroll. So 7 to get to 78 means last page minus 2. So that's why current page is greater than or equal to last page minus 2, and then this first entry should be last page minus 4. So that's why it's 76. Now I'll copy this statement, and we'll create the next lines. I'll get it with the space too. Sorry for that, my mouse is acting up a little. I think there is some problem. So this minus 3, and then if I paste it here, this will be minus 2, and if I paste it here, it will be minus 1, and then here it will be just last page. So this, okay. I know it's a lot, but like, think about it, you'll understand it. It's fairly straightforward. Break it down into chunks, and then you will understand what uh, exactly is going on. We'll add a space here so that it looks a little easier to read. Okay. So with
Hello?
Yeah, Venkatesh.
about that, some power fluctuation. So here now we can see this. So it's uh, f- and up until 77 the carousel will work as expected, but once I reach 78 it will freeze, and it will stay at that level only, showing 77, 79, like when even when my current page is 80, it is not scrolling and showing me some page numbers that don't exist. Okay, so yeah, so now we are done with this label. Okay, uh, next, uh, so since but we have not yet told Tableau what to do once when we click on this label, like uh, so this clicking on this should reduce the current page by 1. Clicking on this should take it to the first page. This should increase by 1. This should take it to the last page, and this clicking on this would should make this the current page, like we saw in this demo. Clicking on this makes it the current page. This scrolls it, and this navigates to the last page. This navigates to the first page. So to do that, we'll create another calculation. This will be fairly simple again, value. And here, now we are mapping stuff to these uh, labels. So what we'll do here is, uh, like we'll use the uh, label itself. So in that case, what I'll do, case label. Okay. So I'm using this label calculation, and then so when this label is this symbol, okay, so I'll just copy that symbol. Then what I want to do is I want to um, go to the current page. So value is 1. So this is essentially returning the page number which I want to go to when I click on this particular entry. So when this, then 1, and next is when the other symbol, this. So then my current page should uh, reduce by 1. Okay, and now I'll also write the right symbols. So these symbols, um, and then last we'll focus on the integers. So this, and then it will be current page plus 1, and next up is, so this should take me to the last page. So creating that calculation, like I said, it will come in handy later too. So this is where we need it. So this will navigate directly to the last page, or else now to the remaining stuff is all this numerical stuff. But recall that to have all our labels as string, we put these integers also in string. So now I'll just write int label, and then end. So when the label is this, then it will return 1. When it's this, then it's this, minus current page minus 1, current page plus 1, last page integer label. So this is my value. Okay. uh, yeah, so now maybe what we can do is, like the next step is setting up a parameter action that changes our current page. So to do that, we'll drag this value, because this value is essentially telling what to do when. So remember that since Tableau has considered this as a measure, it is putting it here, but we don't want to sum these page numbers. That doesn't make sense. So I'll bring it here in as a convert it to a dimension and put it here. Okay. So now this is my value, and as you can also see here, uh, you can see like when this below this symbol it's 1, here it's 79, here it's 76, 77, 78, 79, exactly what we wanted, 81, 80, and this is last page 80. So this is 81, we'll fix that soon. Maybe we'll go to some page which is not weird. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This will be 8. This will be 80. This will be 1. And this will be. Oh, we didn't write +1 somewhere. So let's edit value. Oh, yeah, yeah. Sorry, it's correct because this is the current page and this is -1 and the current page is 7. So this will be +1, that is 8. So, yeah. Now setting up the parameter action is simple. Go to worksheet actions and change parameter. We want our current page parameter to change. Yeah, and so now this source field, we want to change it using this source field. So generally, whenever we use parameter actions, we switch it using the same source field which is added, but here we have created a custom source field, which is why everything works. Like remember this technique, this is very useful. You can, since parameter exist in their own universe and they are constants, you can use them recursively in all your calculations. So for example, in this case, what we are doing is using the current value of the parameter, we are changing some calculation field which we are again using to change the parameter. So you can see the circular link here, but it works because parameters are constant. So like think about it, it's very interesting and you can come up with all sorts of cool applications once you internalize this technique. So now since we have done this, all our actions should work. So if I click on this, my current page should change as expected and my carousel is also changing. So now it will freeze and it will reach 1. Okay, but uh, yeah, so here also it will do this. Okay, yeah, but there is one problem which we saw when we were at the last page. Like clicking on this value when the current page is 1 will pass 0 in the parameter. We don't want that. Our like value, lowest value should be 1 and the highest value should be last page. So to fix that, uh, like we can go here and then instead of just plainly writing current page -1 here, we can make it a bit smarter. We can put it in an IIF statement. So whenever you just want to write if A then B, uh, or if some boolean condition then else statements, write in this format. It's efficient. This is the same way we write in Excel. When you have else if conditions, then write it using the normal if statement. But if it is a small statement, then this saves a lot of space and looks cleaner. So if in this case, what I want to do is if my current page is equal to 1, then 1. So if my current page is 1, then it should not go lower than 1 when I click on this. Else it should be the current page -1. So similarly, here it will be if last page is equal to or oh sorry, not here, it will be here. So if current page is equal to the last page, comma last page, else current page plus 1. Okay. So now this value will like clicking on this will not return some gibberish in the parameter. It will always return 1. So this won't break because someone clicked on this. Because then the current page will be -1 and Tableau will try to filter this page for -1 and it will not return anything. So yeah, um, so that's it. Like the remaining part is just some basic formatting. So I'll show you the calculation for this formatting. Um, okay, so if I go to this, I'll call this.
Venkatesh, I just want to be mindful of time, so we can do the formatting bit, but if you can just share up the entire action, like the can if you can wrap up in the next 5 to 10 minutes, that would be great.
Oh, yeah, 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 sure, sure. Yeah, okay. Yeah. So this color, I'll just show this calculation and the rest I'll do it without explaining it. So yeah, color. So now what we can do here is we want the current page or this box to have some different color. Um, and these should have some different color and this should have some different color. So to do that we can just write one simple boolean calculation, which will be current page is equal to uh, so this current page, if this current page is equal to int label. Okay, so that's it. This will check, this will return true for let's say 1 here in this case, and all these will return false. And since these are not able to, these cannot be converted to strings, this boolean will return null for them. So I'll show you what it means. So if I add it in color, you can see this is true, this is false, false, and this is null. Okay, and so in this case what I'm doing is I'm just adding it in shape. This the color calculation, I've added it in shape so that it's I have 3 different shape and I'm configuring the shape like this. So this is null is square and this is like this, and this black, gray, and orange. So that's it. You can explore this on your own and come up with different techniques to do that. And yeah, one another bit is like when I click on this, the highlighting looks a bit weird. Everything else is grayed out. So to fix that, you can just create one calculation and write anything. In this case, I've written X, drag it in detail, and then click on this and select that calculation. Okay, so that will fix the highlighting issue. So as you can see, the highlighting looks good and everything is works as expected. Okay, so that's it uh, from my side.
Do we have any questions? Okay, amazing.
Okay, sorry, I
No, I think it was perfect. It was great presenting this, Venkatesh. I think we got a really great idea about how we can navigate, and you explained it perfectly, like to the details. It's wonderful.
thank you. I was hoping to wrap it up on time, but it
No
went
worries.
overshot a little.
I think everybody is really excited about this, and I see really great comments here as well. Thank you so much, Venkatesh. If you guys have any questions, but just feel free to drop in the Q&A section, and we'll try to take it at the end if time permits. Okay. We have Akshay now here with us as well. Akshay is joining us and he's going to talk about self-service BI with Tableau. So I'll go ahead and hand it over to Akshay. Akshay, it's all
Yeah,
yours.
yeah. Thank you, Ansula, and thank you, Venkatesh, for the wonderful session. So, guys, let me share my screen first to start with the presentation. Okay, are we there?
Yes, we can see your deck.
Okay, all right, guys. One more data guy from Uber. So I think I should say that one more Meg buddy. So I am a data storyteller, and my passion from data storytelling and visualization took me a new field to explore, which is interior designing. So yeah, this is all about me. Moving next, today's our agenda would be enabling self-service BI. So we'll try to understand why self-service is crucial part. Just to understand, it would guide you through many steps, and probably we would also talk a bit about commercializing dashboard as product, and then how to market dashboard for adoption and scaling. Okay, so in terms of self-service BI, what it is, as like the definition says that easy to use BI tool, so that non-tech professional or non-tech savvy professional like business user coming from sales, finance, HR, marketing should be directly able to access data and explore it on their own. So when we say about explore it on their own, this means different for different person. Let's say for me as a data visualization person or analyst, I have all the resources with me so that I can explore my data sets, or I can build my insights and visualizations. For a business professional, it might be something different, that he has all the resources just to get his insights on plate. So why self-service BI is important? Because we just want our users to get right data at right time. But again, with respect to multiple tools in the market, we also have to ensure that we are cost effective in terms of scale. So we would just try to understand why we need to have self BI approach within our organization or within the projects which we are working. What's the gap? So previously, let's say the business user comes and asks for X information. Then a data visualization person or a dashboarding guy say that, hey, we don't have this particular metric with us. We go to data engineers that, do we really have this metrics? And they say, no, we don't capture it today. We might get it in the future and build it in the flows. That person approached to IT, that IT person helped them to make sure that all the data sets are coming through. These are validated, governed, and secure. And now they say that, yes, these tables are ready. Moving next, the data engineer works on it to get the data model. Again, the data visualization work, and it goes to the business user. After the complete big cycle, again, the business user says, okay, this is good, but now I need another metric. So there is a gap that it takes a huge amount of time, and basically there might be an instance that with respect to covering all this aspect, you lost the opportunity, the time you wanted to utilize that particular metric to be. That's why we wanted to focus around why do we need all those resources on place, or what we can do to ensure that we have data models and all those resources to get insights from it. So I would just try to take you guys around two questions. One would be, what does self-service BI mean to your organization? Maybe it mean different for different people. Like what is the business need and what are the key goals? So there are three parts to it. The first part is, what does self-service actually do? Like for me, it might be I have data sets with me and I can build visualization. For a data engineer, it might be something different. Just wanted, so at an high level, just to understand that what are your goal and what you are trying to achieve, uh, why it is needed. Obviously, that we also need to understand what are the gaps in the current processes so that it can be fixed, to get insights on right time. uh, Again, what is the context, for whom, like in terms of context, I want you to understand that what is the current state of readiness, that there are many organization and different org structures, and they have different pattern of generating and maintaining their data sets. just to understand that where do we currently stand, it's important to understand the maturity model and basically who is the audience. Like, are we trying to address a specific team, a specific business unit? Is self-service BI for a specific individual, or for a developer, or for a business user? So yeah, answering these three questions really help to have some good understanding around it. Okay, moving next, how do we implement self-service at scale? So I just wanted to compare around few things. I wanted to grab your attention that most of the time we have multiple queries and multiple requests, multiple user feedback, and we wanted to build one solution which address all of this. But do we really need that one solution? But my take on this would be to shift the focus from one solution to purpose built solution. Focus why we are building this particular solution, to take it forward. uh, in terms of fragmented governance versus collaborated governance, we just differentiated between, like, everything was with IT previously, and now the timing is changing. Like, we do not need more help from IT in terms of getting data, building data models, and building visualization. But like, taking decisions everything our own, there should be a collaborative governance which would help multiple teams collaborate and work towards a common goal. Third would be, while we are working on data sets or data visualization on or any stuff, more of our focus is on technology and tools. What are the tool sets we are using, or what are the technologies we are using? But we need to shift our focus from those tools and technologies to business orientation. Like, what is the problem statement we are trying to answer? So that should be the main goal while implementing self-service BI. So when I just started talking about self-service BI, I just mentioned that it might be different for different set of people. Like, for a developer, it might be different. For a business user, he should be able to create his own visualization. But how can we enable for that particular business user? So there is a feature in Tableau which is called as Ask Data. So it uses natural language processing and help you to ask question, so that your business users are able to self-generate visualizations. And maybe in terms of developer, it would also help the developer also to have an overall understanding of data. We can talk a bit on it when we walk through it. So I just wanted to give few details around Ask Data function. Like, it was introduced in 2019.1, but only for Tableau server and Tableau online. 2021.2, the first time it came as a feature, as a dashboard feature in Tableau desktop. But yeah, moving forward, this feature might also retire in Feb 2024, as Tableau might be coming it with some improved interface. So I'd just take you guys with a quick demo, then how you can use just a second, how you can use the Ask Data function. So the very first prerequisite for Ask Data function would be, we should have a published data set. So I am here on the Tableau online site, or you can consider it as a Tableau server site. So let's say I go to this particular folder, which is Buddy Talks demo project. I go here and I choose for a published data source. We are trying to have one published data source. I just go to files. I would apply, I'll just upload one single file. So this is a sample employee data which we have. And I would just publish this as a data source within Buddy Talks demo as employee data source. Again, why we are creating this? Just because to utilize this particular feature, we should have a published data source. And then publish. This is success, close. I'll just go here and have a refresh to see if we have our data source over here. Okay, so now we have our data source. I'll just go to the data source. Okay, so now we can see Ask Data over here. So what we have to do, we have to create the lens. So now what is the lens? We are trying to create a subset of our data set. What we want our business users to see all those fields or all their value, which we want them to utilize them while doing their analysis. So create a lens. I'd give it a name as employee lens. It would be a part of Buddy Talk demo project, and I would be publishing this lens. Okay, now this lens is published. This would ask me to select a field, particular field, which we want our data sets owner or business user to see. If you hover over, this would give you some statistics and high level information about this particular field. And I would just select all the fields for now and click submit. So this is ask data space where you can see that you can start asking NLP questions and build your visualization. But what we would do, we won't be performing any actions over here, and we would connect our Tableau data source, Tableau desktop to this particular data source, published data source, and we'll try to create a workbook over here. So this is my Tableau desktop. I am connecting to Tableau server. Okay, so if I connect to Tableau server, I already did the signups part. So I can see that we have employee data source as Buddy Talk demo. I would just click it over here and connect. Okay, so now if I go here, I would just optimize the sheet a bit to have some bigger view. Okay, put a container, a small blank maybe. Just a second, guys. It's also taking up with my mouse. Okay, let's say I name it as okay, I'll just directly go with ask data. So I'm putting this ask data object over here. I would remove this blank. So now this has taken over my screen, and if you see, as in directly I connected to ask data, you can see the employee lens which we just created. I would just select that particular employee lens and would select OK. Okay, so now I have all the fields whichever I selected while creating this particular lens, and this is my space and basically visualization area. Let's say I wanted to have pay rate by department. So I would just select pay rate by department and hit the submit button. So it already builds a visualization for me, which is a bar chart. So you have more options if you want to explore while creating a visualization. Let's say you wanted to filter your data only for, let's say, employment status. So I would just put employment status contains active. So this would filter my data for employees who are active within an organization. So this is how we can build visualization over here. So I would just clear it for now to have some blank. Okay, now we have a blank screen. I would just save this file as employee workbook. I'll publish this workbook to Buddy Talks demo, publish. And now we can share this particular link with our business users so that they can directly go and explore few of the questions or few of the data sets over here. maybe developers can also use this particular feature to show their user how a particular visual might look like, how particular dashboard might look like. They might have something at very previous to show case their user. So this is the screen which we can share with the business users. Okay. So this is about the ask data function. I would again move you guys to the demo, to the visualization which we had. Sorry, to the presentation which we had. Okay. Now we would talk a bit about dashboard as a product. So eventually we shared ask data function with our business user that would help them to explore or understand visualizations by their own. But I also want people to think around why they should have consider their dashboard as a product, just because it would give them multiple avenues to think around, or not just present a set of visualization. So whenever I think dashboard as a product, I think of four particular areas, which is vision, strategy, design, and execution. Just to elaborate a bit on this, I wanted to grab your attention around this particular product, iPhone. So I have just written the vision line, which is to make the best product on earth and to leave the world better than we found it. So yeah, every time they are just focusing on the vision, what they wanted and what they are trying to achieve. So maybe we are building a dashboard to solve a particular problem, but I just wanted to remind you that the dashboard or a particular product should always have a vision, and we should always strike on that particular vision. In terms of execution, the first iPhone was launched in 2007, and since that particular organization is executing and launching their product. Their strategy is for simplicity, and basically they wanted to have simple and easy to use design. So yeah, most of you would be able to answer most of your questions when you think about this particular four areas. The 7 steps which I particularly use while delivering a successful dashboarding product is: the step one is building a request intake system. We might be getting multiple requests through multiple channels. Some might be pinging you on Teams, Slack. Some might be sending you an email. You might be attending a meeting and someone asks you for a particular metric. So there might be multiple channels through which you get the request, but you should have one standard request intake system where you would have track of all your requests. So I particularly go with Jira and Asana to get those requests recorded in terms of requirement gathering forms or maybe the tickets. The step two would be focus on design thinking, like decoding user challenges with empathy. Uh, it's very much important to have empathetic conversation with your stakeholder and building relationship with them to understand what they actually want. Step three is accelerating data discovery. I focus around in this particular step. I have an overall understanding of how does my data infrastructure look like, what might be the steps I need to take to build a strong data system. So now we have data at place, and now it's time for dashboard building. But to take a step back, just because directly delivering a dashboard or a product, we just wanted to create some wireframe and user stories. This would help our user to have an overall idea or view of how the final product should look like and what are the use cases we are trying to understand. This would help you to clarify a lot of your questions and help you to save from reworking on your designing. The step 5 is designing solution. Step 6 is usability testing. Once we have our solution design, we want specific user to test our design or the test the dashboard in terms of how it looks, in terms of UI and UX, how it looks in terms of, is someone validating all the formulas you have, is someone validating all the information or tooltips you have created in the dashboard. And the last is improving user engagement. Most of the time people create dashboard, share with users, and after 90 days, after 180 days, or after some point of time, your dashboard is not getting used. You don't get views on those dashboard. You don't know that if that particular dashboard is really helping your users or not. So again, we would talk a bit about how you can market your dashboard. The first step which I ensure after creating a dashboard is that are we conducting user trainings? Are we scheduling some session with our users to walk them through the dashboard and maybe create some videos which would help them navigate through each and every component. The another thing which is very much important to focus around would be usage metrics, which would give you some overall understanding how a particular dashboard or a product is performing. The third thing which I always consider is news and update section within a particular dashboard, and that is being continuously updated, because that gives your users some idea around, okay, so last month this was the release, upcoming month this might be the features which might get added as a part of dashboard, or we might be able to say this particular things in dashboard. This was more formal things. Now what we can do more to convince our user to use the dashboard or a product, we might create some visual metaphors or launch teaser that, hey, we are launching this, we are trying to address this particular problem. We can create some visually appealing metaphors to share with them, or some teasers which in a way that they might get involved in this particular process. It won't look like that a particular person is creating a dashboard and sharing with stakeholder. It would look like that everyone is getting involved in that particular process. Monthly and quarterly newsletter, depending on the way you can, would always help, just because you might be able to cover all those things which are related to your dashboard or a metric. And maybe the next is plan your next release. Don't stop. We might have created a product, so it might outdate soon, so you don't have to stop, you just have to think around and give the best out of the same product you can. So I think, yeah, that's it.
Amazing, Akshay. We do have a few questions here in the chat. Would love you to answer those. Arpit is asking, can Ask Data be used by viewer licenses, or just does it only work with Explorer and Creator license?
Yeah, it can be used with viewer license, but yeah, just one thing to be ensured, that you should be using a published data source, and you should have a server or Tableau online account.
Perfect. Arpit is also asking, which tool do you prefer to create and showcase your wireframes?
Okay, so mostly Figma is something which everyone use for creating wireframe and user stories, but I would strongly recommend everyone to start with PowerPoint presentations or Google Slide, just because you can show, yeah, that these are the KPIs, this is the particular visual I would be using, and it's really very easy to use and won't require you to get into all those licensing parts.
Great. Thank you. Garima is asking, can you give some examples of wireframes and user story? And she wants to know if you could also share this presentation with her.
Okay, Garima, I would definitely share with the team, and maybe the team can forward you across. In terms of wireframe, you just wanted to know an example. So let's say I am working for HR team, so and I am working on an employee attrition dashboard. So that is the topic we are working upon. In terms of wireframe, I would be creating one wireframe in terms of a PowerPoint slide where I would try to mention all the KPIs on top, like what is the employer attrition, what is the voluntary attrition, what is the involuntary attrition in terms of KPIs. And maybe below that, I can try to show few of the charts, in not charts, few of the blocks with detail, like we might be creating a trend of attrition over time in this particular visualization. So that might help. In terms of user story, we always try to understand that as an break down your KPIs, your metrics in terms of user story. Like, hey, now we understood what does the attrition look like. Now we also wanted to understand the metrics, that how the first year attrition look like, how many people are leaving organization in the first year. So you can frame questions like this, which would help you to intuitively go through the problem statements and maybe help you to find solutions.
Great. Prashant is also asking, Akshay, the users would not have much control on how the visualizations and reporting look compared to the manual dashboard creation if they start using Ask Data. Do you want to add in how can they use this?
Okay, so I think Ask Data is not something we want our users to rely on. Dashboarding and the product which a data visualization person or a person with tech expertise would be delivering can't deliver with Ask as data, but this is more of a function. Most of the time it happens that you are creating a visualization, but your stakeholder is asking something else to be presenting for his presentation. He just wanted to see a pie chart. How does it look like? You have created a bar chart, and he wanted to see how this particular problem statement might look like with other visualization. So I don't say you have to publish this particular ask data function fully. You have your dashboard on place, you can create one more sheet to it, which is ask data, which would encourage your users to explore data, and maybe also encourage you to explore data in different visualizations as well.
Great. Akshay, also one more question from
Mhm.
Arpit. This is interesting, and I know a lot of people are worried about this. Do you see self-service in BI as diminishing roles at work for IT?
No, I won't see. I won't say that just because I just stated in the very start that self-service BI is not just an approach. It is something like shift in thinking. You have to think and think around how you can empower your business with right data at right time. Just because now, let's say you join a firm as a part of marketing function is not specialized in building visualization and reporting. They are like well versed with the marketing strategies, but what you can do best to understand their data systems, create value for them, uh, I think this would really help.
Akshay, I also do have one question. So
Okay.
with us data, we are exposing in a way we are exposing our data to some of our stakeholders, right?
Yeah.
Do you also see any privacy and security gaps that can occur if you enable this for some of your users?
Yeah, that's why we were creating Lens, just because we want our users to see only a particular data sets which we feel is secure to be shared. Let's say if I take an example of HR data set, we know there are few of the columns or data metrics like diversity, like veteran status, race, ethnicity, gender, which is which we can't expose with everyone, and there are always data security challenges. So we need to be the developer needs to be mindful of what is going next to the users.
Absolutely makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Are there any other last questions? We can take a few more as we have time, and even though if those are for Venkatesh, that should be fine as well. Okay. Think we are good. I know we have India-Pakistan match going on, and everybody is too excited for it. And thank you so much, Venkatesh and Akshay. These were like great sessions. I'm sure all of us have learned a lot through the session today. We'll share the profiles of Venkatesh and Akshay as well. Please follow them. They keep coming up with a lot of knowledge sharing and sessions that they do. So yeah, really excited to have you on the Tableau Buddy Talk. Thank you for joining us, speaking here, and making sure that the audience was engaged throughout. Thank you so much. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah.
Feel free to reach out for anything that you need.
Thank you,
Thank,
guys.
thank you so much, guys.
Thank you, everyone.